Okay, let's start. And you are live.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Firelink Podcast, episode number 101 for Thursday, March 12th, 2026. Marty Sleever here, joined by Casey Wosu and producer Eric. Nick is off on a well-deserved European vacation. He actually made it there.
Finally.
Took several delays, but it sounds like he's actually there.
Did he have to swim eventually?
He had to swim there, he had to train there, he had to fly there, he had to walk there. But Casey, Eric, and I are here to hold down the fort, and we have a good show for you today. We have a bunch of little news bits. Nothing like no one major news bit, but a lot of minor ones, including Xbox giving some more details about Project Helix, their next-gen console, earlier today at the Game Developers Conference over in San Francisco. A kind of 1-2 punch of Sega saying that strong reviews for the games have not equaled strong sales, and then kind of the combo story of NetEase pulling funding from the game Gang of Dragons, the developer of which was the former head of the Yakuza team who left a few years ago to form his own studio, and kind of he made that game of Gang of Dragons game that was shown off at the Game Awards that just looked like Yakuza and everything but the name, including it was like where they were fucking fighting Donnie Lee in front of that the gate. And we'll also be talking a little bit. Jeff Kaplan kind of went fully honest about his departure from Blizzard and Overwatch and everything, and why that happened while showing off his new game. And the reasons make you proud of Jeff and angry at everyone who makes money in this world, because they're all bad people. I think they're all bad people. Yeah, same old story. And then we'll be chatting about everything we've been playing. How are you doing, Casey?
I'm doing all right. Like you said, yeah, it's like there's a lot of like tiny like news nuggets.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, like maybe like a 6-piece McDonald's meal.
Exactly.
Video game news.
Yeah, and we're kind of in the middle of some big releases. You know, we'll talk a little bit about Pokopia next week. I think Casey will be able to talk about Crimson Desert. The embargo will have lifted by then. I assume we could say that, and if not, just don't tell anyone I said that. Easy as that.
Keep it.
Who knows? I didn't sign an embargo. I don't even think I've looked at the embargo, so I don't know. I didn't play the game. But yeah, we'll jump into. Oh, and great to see everyone in YouTube. Welcome everyone, and Simply Gun. Thanks for joining the tip jar. Appreciate you. Simply
Thank you.
Gun. And appreciate everyone who throughout the week and throughout the pods and the streams have been donating to that goal. We passed the 2/3 mark earlier today during Jack and I streaming Slay the Spire, which was very exciting. So I have no doubt we will hit that, and sometime in the next month or so, we'll plan a Saturday for the four of us to doke until we die. I think the funniest thing would be if we managed to finish it in 45 minutes. And then we're like,
would be funny. That's the thing. This joke works both ways. Like if we finish it in a snap, that's really funny because we've been building up like the hype for how long it's going to take.
We could just be
but
like,
if
I
it
guess
takes
we'll
like
show
12 hours.
Else.
It's like, because it was supposed to be close to done and we had 12 hours to go. Like it's just it's a win-win.
But no doke for now. Let's turn our attention to Project Helix. That was the big news that it broke like right before we started recording last week. That's the name of the Xbox's next gen, console, the code name of it. We have the little logo. We put it on the box here on the thumbnail. Do you know what movie that box is from? Do you know what this thumbnail that I chose is alluding to?
Is that from 7?
It is it's the box that Gwyneth Paltrow's head was in 7. Spoilers for the end of the film 7. But instead of putting those things, I had Pat Manthan put the little Project Helix, which might be slander. Xbox might not be thrilled at this, but it's fine. They don't know what's going on. Who knows?
Well, no, because the joke is the question that gets asked. Right?
What's in the box?
What's in the box? Right. Yeah.
That's what their GDC panel should have been called. They're fucking up there. But yeah, at the Game Developers Conference today, the Xbox Next Gen VP Jason Ronald had a panel, had a discussion there talking about the new console, and a couple news bits dropped from it, including the news that alpha dev kits were going out early 2027. which for reference, this version of dev kits for the Series X apparently went out at the end of 2019. And 1 year later, the console released. So that's not necessarily a one-to-one, but those dev kits went out end of 2019. Console released November 2020. So who knows?
Does that seem like a good timeline based on like how you were saying the console generation doesn't feel over yet?
That's going to be one of the big things we talk about. If they're going out early next year, it makes me assume it's not coming out next year, that it would be coming out in 2028, which seems a little more palatable, although I still don't think we're quite ready to get there yet. But we have a couple Patreon comments about that. But further on in the panel, Ronald went on to say, Project Helix is powered by a custom AMD SoC and co-designed for the next generation of DirectX and FSR to unlock what comes next. It delivers an order of magnitude leap in ray tracing performance and capability, integrates intelligence directly into the graphics and computer pipeline, and drives meaningful gains in efficiency, scale, and visual ambition. The result is more realistic, immersive, and dynamic worlds for players. A lot of technical mumbo jumbo, gobbledygook, all those fun words. One thing that people who know this stuff said was the architecture seems primed for you not needing to choose between performance and fidelity modes. That it almost seems like the architecture they're creating is able to do both of those simultaneously, which is one of those things where even on the Series X you usually have to choose right between one or the other. On the PS5,
it became
you have to choose.
And I think that spilled over from PC, where that freedom of being able to choose, hey, these settings will make it run better versus I want it to look as good as it possibly can, machine be damned. Like on console, I guess they were trying to give them a similar experience, despite consoles generally being able to run the thing that's on them without fault. Like,
I think it's literally something with the architecture of like that at least the base PS5 and Series X aren't able to like rub its belly and pat its head at the same time. Whereas like Tyrell mentions, the PS5 Pro does have the ability to in certain games be able to be like, I want both. I want the beef and the fish for this wedding.
The beef and the fish. I like
the beef and the fish. The big two. Yeah.
Okay, so this is following in that lineage of saying screw concessions, we want it all.
Yeah, and making
that makes devs happy.
Yes, and the comparisons that this is going to be kind of a PC in a console box makes it seem more and more, because again, they double down on the fact that this is where you're going to play your Xbox and all of your PC games, like not just the Game Pass on PC games. Like, people are thinking this is going to mean the Epic Store, this is going to mean Humble, and this is going to mean, Steam. I don't know why I left that one third. Seems like a weird
biggest
one. It's the biggest one. And then Dr. Serkan Toto of the research group Cotton Games told Games, and this is like a games analyst who they go to a lot when it comes to kind of nitty gritty stuff, told Games Radar that the PS5 Pro is $750 in the US, which I did not realize until I just read that sentence. That seems very expensive. It did go up in price, I remember, because I believe it was $699.99 and it went up $50 because America's winning. When America wins, we like to spend more on the things we want. And then apparently an Xbox Series X with a 2 terabyte hard drive is $800. I don't know. All these things are surprises to me, but I'm assuming they're correct. If the stock,
is that like a custom thing?
He's a doctor. I don't know, but there's absolutely no reason to expect that Project Helix will be cheaper. So a base model could be priced at $900 with a more premium version, even more than that. So we get to the rub of this all, which Bromez Adams over in the Patreon, thank you so much, Bromez, says, with all this talk about RAM shortages delaying the next generation, is there anyone asking if we even need a new generation yet? If the games aren't pushing the envelope of what is possible with the current systems, then why are we even worried about the next evolution? And I agree. Like, it doesn't feel like we've hit that point where, you got to the end 2 generations ago. You started seeing games like The Last of Us and BioShock Infinite and GTA 5. And you're like, this kind of feels like the PS3 and the 360 are tapped. And it's time to get these new hardware. Even last gen, we had The Last of Us Part 2 and Final Fantasy VII Remake and Death Stranding, which felt like they were kind of squeezing everything they could from the PS4 and the Xbox One. it doesn't feel like we've had any of those games. Like Grand Theft Auto 6 will probably be that, right? Knowing
Like
them.
maybe, right? Yeah. Like 5, and let's remember 5 came out 2 generations ago.
Yeah, 5 was one of those games that came out on the PS3 and the 360 at launch.
Yeah, and it like it was kind of broken a little bit, especially online. Like you would try to like load into a game, it would take forever.
Yeah,
and that didn't even change with the jump to the next console generation. Honestly,
and we do get those games on the cusp where Cyberpunk released for the previous gen and was a disaster on those, right? You know, so it is one of those, you know, maybe GTA 5 or GTA 6 is going to come out. I can't imagine, but maybe it comes out and it doesn't run great on PS5 and Series X, which would feel insane because like
that would be bad.
It doesn't feel like anything's like pushed these things to the limit. Like Death Stranding 2 is amazing looking, but like, I don't know, didn't feel like a thing that was like, oh my God, my console's ready to die. Like it just doesn't feel like we've seen that. And maybe with this final wave of games, maybe that's what Fable and the new Gears is going to be and that kind of stuff. Horizon, maybe. Forza Horizon, Wolverine. I don't know.
But like that being said, the idea that like we haven't had anything that's pushing the current gen in terms of their specs, the things that have still been like big and popular haven't seemingly relied on big graphical fidelity and spectacle.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, and big surprise, this industry is kind of aimlessly continuing down the same path when things around it seem to have shifted in a way. Like if we're gonna do a new console, why does it once again have to follow this mantra of bigger, better, faster, stronger?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing else you can think of to add kind of value to a new machine, especially one that's gonna cost more than our more expensive consoles.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel comfortable spending $1,000 on a new console. Like that's never been a thing.
When undoubtedly the games that come out for it are going to be cross-gen games, right? There's no way they're like, this is $1,000 and this big game is exclusive on it. Because you're like, who the fuck is buying this thing?
Like it's way out of anyone sensible's price range.
Yeah, it would be more impressive if one of these companies was like, you know what we're devoting a team to making a smaller, quieter, equally powerful, cheaper version of the consoles. Like
that would legitimately get people excited.
Yeah. What if like they were like, we're introducing the PS5 like Slim or like the PS5, you know, family or whatever, and you're like, okay, we're trying to get this thing at like $250. And
Eric puts up the Xbox Series S. Yeah,
that is the Series S, but
basically that. Yeah,
but I want it cheaper and I want it to work. I just want those two things.
No, the issue was they didn't have the games that most of the people wanted to play on it. Right?
Sure,
it was the cheapest console you could buy.
Yeah,
great ecosystem, but it just didn't give you access to the exclusives that everyone wanted, which were on Nintendo and Sony's console. So like that was the problem.
Yeah, I mean, games are ultimately king. Like as we talk about we could yell about hardware for as much as we want. Games will ultimately be the things that.
Yeah, the Series S could have played the big Sony and Nintendo titles. Like that wasn't the problem.
Yeah. Pixel Grip, also in the Patreon. Thank you so much. Pixel Grip said, do you think that Microsoft actually had Project Helix in the pipeline prior to the announcement, or do you think they just pulled it out of their ass to rid the news cycle of Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond's recent departures? Given the news of all the RAM shortages, I can't imagine this was something that they actually thought that much at all, and it seems more like the former. I understand where you're coming from, but like the fact that there was an entire GDC panel devoted to it, like, these things are kind of locked in early. And granted, maybe behind the scenes, Microsoft can come to GDC and be like, hey, we need a panel at the last minute. Find us a room to do this in.
That is possible.
But I don't know. This feels maybe like I'm not saying no, but this doesn't feel like something that was like damage control whipped together after the news. Or maybe like the writing was on the wall and some people knew about that departure, so they were able to plan this thing, you know, a completely separate group was able to plan this thing to, you know, be like, okay, shortly after the news breaks, we're going to be able to have this kind of rollout way before PlayStation. Like I have no idea when PlayStation's going to talk about the PS6 or whatever. Like it feels like they have to show off their games first. or maybe wanting to get ahead of like what Valve's doing with the Steam machine, which was we were supposed to get more news around now, even it possibly releasing around now, but that got pushed back to seemingly later in the year because of all the RAM shortages and them not knowing what the price of this thing is going to be. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm skeptical of this being a sort of panic button announcement. For a couple of reasons. Like you said, like this stuff gets planned out like way further in advance than you probably think.
Yeah.
But it also aligns with my earlier thought where like these companies, they are not reacting to the world around them. Like they have a plan.
Yeah.
And they just go full steam ahead doing the same thing. So like this is just Xbox's MO. Like they were ready to talk about the next thing based on just everything that's been happening the last 2 years. And so they hit that milestone.
Yeah. But economy be damned. Like whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Like, spending power of the dollar be damned. Even though if you looked at everything around it, read the room, you'd be like,
yeah, like it doesn't seem like
about this thing.
It's actually odd that they've seemed to have gotten positive buzz out of kind of talking about a next console generation. That seems to be like incidental to the fact that they announced it, because the issue was that they were thinking that Xbox was getting out of the console business altogether.
Yeah.
So for them to say, "Oh, start talking about our next console," that just kind of helps push back against that narrative. And they somehow managed to get positive press immediately following all the negativity of Phil Spencer being retiring. Like, Asha Sharma came in looking like a big ass red flag and somehow flipped that all around to people wanting to give her a chance. So like that's kind of serendipitous, honestly. Like I don't think they planned this. Xbox doesn't tend to have things they plan go the way they want.
It's also, we've seen in the past companies want to be the first one to pull the trigger on the next gen when their gen isn't going super well.
Right, yeah. Nintendo did it. Xbox
was
did
a very short generation. The original Xbox was a very short generation. Those two consoles were not doing great compared to their competition. So even though this has been, we're in the 6th year, which is usually the time we start hearing about next gen, but this generation just seems so strange because of COVID, right? Because everything it feels like there was like a 4-year span where we only made 2 years of progress. So even though we are in the 6th year, it kind of doesn't feel like the 6th year of a generation. It feels more like we're at the midpoint of a generation, but who knows?
And I don't think anyone, like no one would be bummed that we're not getting consoles in the next 2 years.
Give us
like
the games. Give us cool games. Give us, from Microsoft, show us what Bethesda's working on, what Machine Games, what id's working on. And granted, they kind of have shown us those things. It's just those games didn't, like Starfield wasn't Skyrim and Halo Infinite wasn't really anything. Kind
of came in.
But it's like we haven't, and that was a cross-gen game as well, I think. Yeah.
Which, Halo?
Halo Infinite. Yeah, that was also playable on Xbox One, right? I actually don't know. Ooh.
I don't think so.
Okay, I might have been wrong on that one. I was probably wrong on that one now that I think about it. But it just doesn't feel like we haven't gotten our Gears game this generation. We didn't get that Perfect Dark game this generation. We didn't get it doesn't feel like ever, I guess. But Cody Bishop, thank you so much for a $5 dono. Said, I have a theory that when things are bad on a national or global scale, people don't really mind spending money on entertainment in order to escape reality, which is also true. I know that movies thrived during world wars. Despite the fact
isn't it also where people got like news? Like they found out about the war by going to the movies.
Like a kind of like a political cartoon. You'd be like, you probably shouldn't show the Germans looking like that. that's not good. Imagine if you went to the movie theater like before seeing the Super Mario Brothers movie, you had to that's the only place to get the news. And you're like, oh fucking, what is going on in Iran? I thought I was coming here to see Yoshi. Yeah,
completely detached from the movie that follows now.
But I saw an Onion article that was America too fucking tired to form an opinion about Donald Glover as Yoshi. And it's just the guy's like, I can't. There's just too much shit. I can't give you a take about what I think about Donald Glover being Yoshi. If you would have come at me at another time, I would have absolutely had a take for you. Right now, I'm like, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, it's like,
in the grand scheme of things, it's not important.
All right. And while I agree with that sentiment about people do spend on entertainment when they feel helpless, like that is a known psychological thing. The trick of this situation is that a lot of people don't even have that money to spend.
Yeah, so it's
So like even if they would, because they're sad, like they're sad because they've lost all their money.
yeah.
So you just can't do it.
Yeah. Let's jump to our next topic. Sega, in a most recent financial earnings call, in a Q&A with folks, someone asked them what it sees as future challenges for its full game titles. And they responded that while the development cost per title for our mainstay titles is lower compared to so-called AAA titles in the industry. It's funny that to say so-called, like it just sounds like they're taking shots at other
that does
companies.
sound like, like beef.
We recognize that our strength lies in the relatively high acclaim that we receive for quality. And they're referring to the fact that Sega's last couple games, Shinobi Art of Vengeance, 2 Point Hospital, Sonic Cross World Racings, all had high Metascores in the 80s. And Metaphor Refantazio, a year and a half ago, had like a 94, and got Game of the Year nominees and stuff. However, Sega continued, on the other hand, we also recognize that such high evaluations have yet to translate into a further increase in unit sales. So Sega is pretty much saying, we're making the good games, but not enough people are buying them, and we don't know what to do. Which is interesting. And so Sega on the way has unannounced, but a big new Sonic game, like the follow-up to Sonic Frontiers, which we'll probably be hearing about this year. Persona 4 Revival, as well as Persona 6, which maybe we'll be hearing about this year. That Stranger Than Heaven, which is that was the game called Project Century for the core Yakuza team. You've seen the trailers where it's almost like it's like an open world Yakuza game that takes place throughout Japan throughout the 1900s. We've seen that at a couple showcases. And then
with that man who's probably a vampire.
With the man who's probably a vampire, which would be very exciting. And then they've retro revivals like Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi, Golden Axe. I don't know like which of those a Sonic game could be big. The Persona
that'll
games
probably
could
just
be big.
do numbers and those have generally done numbers without the acclaim for Sega.
Yeah. So and like Frontiers was in the right direction, I would say. But what, like, in your opinion, if it just comes to kind of marketing, not even talking about who makes good games, when it comes to kind of getting word of their games out there, who do you think does it well? Like, I had two come to mind. It feels like Devolver on the indie level. When like a game has kind of the Devolver stamp on it, you kind of know, oh, there's a certain level of quality and a certain level of like unique, quirky, weird, something like that. And Devolver usually cuts funny trailers. They have a funny social presence, and I mean, you could be give or take on them, but I like their showcases. I wish they had a little bit more like this is the actual video game, but
they've gotten a little carried away with them.
Yeah,
I used to like them quite a bit more than the last couple.
It does seem like they've kind of crawled a little bit up their ass. And then in the AAA
that's
space,
a really good question.
In the AAA space, the one that came to mind, and maybe it's just because Resident Evil is on my mind, is Capcom. It seems like they've done a very good job. We've talked about this before over the past, 5-10 years, kind of turning the ship around. They felt like they were in like a really low place in terms of the big classic publishers, but they've turned things around with Street Fighter, certainly with Resident Evil, Monster Hunter. They have these big franchises. They're doing interesting new IP like Pragmata and everything. They're bringing Mega Man back, even though apparently the voice actor is not going to come back because they refuse to side with the unions. To promise that there won't be AI use in actors' voices.
Very sketchy.
But Capcom does seem to like, they lean into stuff with like, I don't know, it seems like Resident Evil 9 was marketed well. Like, it seems like it showed up at a lot of places. They showed the scary side and they showed the look, everyone's horny for Leon side. And it feels like that was one of the things that kind of helped propel. Also, the game's good. So obviously that helped the game sell.
That tends to help a bit.
Yeah.
What I'm curious about when you talk about like kind of marketing and just word of mouth, because this is a long-standing issue and has been for a while in terms of discoverability, like even amongst some of the heavy hitters, right? Like just breaking through the noise. When you say a company like Capcom has done a better job of getting stuff in front of you, like You mean you as someone who follows video games, not necessarily like the public in general.
Yeah, it's tough because I don't even mean me. Because I even the people who are bad at getting stuff in front of me, I know about because it's my job. I'm almost more thinking like I have friends who, not like the friends who don't play games, but the friends who are like medium into games and aren't following the news cycle. They all knew about and were excited about Resident Evil.
Okay.
So, like at the very least, it got through to them. People who only kind of hear of a few games a year, unless I tell them about it. You know,
and that's the thing. Resident Evil is a big deal.
Yeah.
So like maybe even to that, like when a new one comes around, like that will make the rounds on the internet. Because I think that is where the marketing actually breaks through to the masses is the internet. Like you're not, even if you're watching Monday Night Football, like you see a Resident Evil commercial, I think they left to get a beer or something.
Yeah,
like they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
So it's like, what runs in front of like YouTube videos or what are people what are the kids making fun of on TikTok? Like those are the things that kind of break the zeitgeist. So Claire Obscura is what I'm thinking of. That not that they had like a big marketing thing, but like it reached a level of sort of zeitgeist that it just spread organically. And I just don't think this is a weird take. I don't think marketing works today. Like
or like classic marketing, right? Like,
yeah, especially not like the old way. Like I don't think it's possible to properly market video games to the public.
Yeah,
like it's something that kind of has to find its own way through society, and like that's impossible to plan around and to like it's way hard.
Like the way big movies are marketed now is the main actors go on a weird YouTube tour of like, here's this show that they answer questions while playing with puppies, and here's Hot Ones, and here's the two stars making a dish in a test kitchen together, like kind of weird shit like that. They're playing Two Truths and a Lie or something, as opposed to like them being on like fucking Fallon or Seth Meyers. Doesn't seem like anyone gives a shit about that, right?
But if they do go on,
they do a game,
Seth Meyers or whatever.
Right.
But all I'm saying is if they do go on those stations, it gets back to everyone because it's a clip. Like it's not the whole interview. Like it's not the people who were sitting there actually watching it live because they don't give a shit about whatever the celebrity was talking about. It's when it hits the internet afterwards.
Yeah, if a moment goes viral. Media. Like there was that moment where like Conan was on the Wing show, and I don't even know what he was promoting, but he just went insane. Remember, like 2 years ago, might have been like for the Oscars or something, or for his travel show. And he just started like eating and gnawing and screaming and like drinking the hot sauce.
Yeah,
so that's what you got to do. You just got to go nuts. Yeah, but you know, like,
and hope for the best.
Like who does well? Like, I mean, Nintendo is just. I don't know if Nintendo does it well. They're just kind of ubiquitous. Like. Was Pokopia marketed well, or did people see, oh shit, it's Pokemon plus Minecraft plus Stardew Valley? That is,
I think that like
a slam dunk.
Like people started talking. That's what happened. Because like I had earlier meetings today at my other job, and folks were talking about, oh, I picked up Pokopia because I heard good things about it. Like it's like there's not a Pokopia commercial that I've seen anywhere.
No,
right?
It's
and we saw like the one conference it was in. I want to say, when they showed that original trailer. Like I haven't watched anything about it. I even missed Pokemon's Direct thingy where they were talking about winds and waves. Did they talk about Pokopia then?
They might have had a really brief segment on it, because I think there was a standalone Pokopia, not a direct, but just like a 10-minute video that went out a little while ago. Which Nintendo's just doing that now. Like the other morning, they were just like, here's like the release date trailer for that Yoshi and the Mysterious Book game. And it was kind of like, they used to do these as directs, and now you just kind of put them up on like a Tuesday morning just as a video. Like,
you think Nintendo might have already figured this out, that like it doesn't make sense to put money in marketing. Like make your trailer, put it on your channel, and it will spread because Nintendo has that sort of cachet, and people get excited about seeing the thing.
Like you mentioned, Pokopia, the proof was in the pudding. Like the game was the marketing. Once people were playing it and showing off, like, look at this crazy, like I built the fucking Library of Alexandria in my basement in my village, or like I've created fucking Rivendell. Yeah, and it's like, gee, this game's been out a week. What do you mean you've done this? And this is the kind of thing that like people see that and it's like, oh shit, I could do that and pet a Pikachu. Like I gotta do that.
They want to get involved. Some folks were buying Switches So like Switch 2s were because this is a Switch 2 exclusive. So like it became a console seller because of this hype.
Two real life human flesh and blood friends who are very normie and do not give a shit about any of this, who have bought Switch 2s for this game. And they would not have, they would have maybe bought one when like the new Mario comes out. Donkey Kong did nothing for them. They're like, okay, you're just a big monkey punching through walls. And then they play this game. And they're like, look, I can punch through walls in this game. And I'm like, it's not the same. That's Hitmonchan's powers punching through walls. It's different than Bonanza. We had a couple Patreon comments related to this. Andy Hunter, thank you so much, Andy, said, regarding Sega's woes, the only logical conclusion is that their fate is tied irrevocably with Yuji Naka's. Take him out of prison and Sega's fortunes will surely change. He might already be out, but it doesn't matter. I agree with you for Yuji Naka. Let her dog out.
Just bring him back, yeah.
And then Charles Reimer, thank you so much, said, I'm not familiar, or I am most familiar with Sega's Atlas problem. Atlas the developer, not Atlas like a book of maps.
Like the Greek god?
Yeah, exactly. Not the man with the whole world on his back. Decades of director's cuts released for a good chunk of their games has left a lot of more fair-weather fans picking up Persona 5 Royal, sitting around waiting for the definitive edition of future games, even for things like Persona 3 Reload, a remake. It's shockingly easy to find potential buyers interested in Metaphor, and they all say the same thing. They're waiting for the real release, quote unquote. So that could be one thing, at least with the Atlas. Like they've done this with Shin Megami Tensei, with so many of the Persona games, with Catherine. Like, if you've kind of taught the audience, or if you're a company that lowers the price of your games like two months after they come out, if like, you know, Nintendo games kind of just don't go down in price. So I'm like, I always tell my friends, like, occasionally it'll go down a little bit, but if you're interested in something, you can fucking get it whenever.
2 days ago was Mario Day. That's like the one day a year where they'll like discount things, but they discount things that are so old.
Yeah, it'll be like New Super Mario Brothers U for Switch. You're like, okay, this was literally a Wii U game,
and his only stuff was like Mario in the title.
Yeah,
so it's like,
and it'll get discounted to like $39.99. You're like, well, that's not what we're talking about here. Like, but yeah, that could be a thing. Like, if you teach people to either to wait for your games because a better version or a cheaper version will come down the line, then it's Pavlovian. They'll start to wait, and it's probably not good for that. I'll go to the. I saw your Chef Eric. We're gonna get to your fifth sandwich. I'm very excited for Chef Eric's next sandwich. But I wanted to pair this with the NetEase story that I mentioned. That. The fate of Nagoshi-san's game, Gang of Dragon, is in question. This was a game that was just announced 3 months ago at the Game Awards. And Bloomberg reported that the Chinese publisher NetEase planned to cut off funding from Nagoshi Studio, which is developing the recently revealed action-adventure title Gang of the Dragon, as it pulls back from game development. So NetEase has been doing this over the past couple years. Like, this isn't the first studio. They divested interest in a bunch of studios outside of China. You know, they started funding games, and then they're like, ooh, we're not going to do this, including a Vancouver-based developer that was led by ex-BioWare creative Mac Walters, a Seattle-based studio started by Xbox veteran Jerry Hook, a Tokyo-based studio that was the developer of Visions of Mana for Square Enix, another studio, Fantastic Pixel Castle, led by ex-Riot and Blizzard devs. So it's people are just like, this is really shitty that they, promised funding during COVID when money was everything, when money was free. They promised funding to all these things. They gobbled up studios. They own Grasshopper Manufacturer studio, and they own apparently Quantic Dream, the David Cage's studio, who's working on Star Wars, maybe
doing that Star Wars thing.
And so, yeah, this sucks because this game was literally, the game Eric showing off was just announced literally 3 months ago. And it was just like, oh, this looks like him doing Yakuza. Like, maybe he didn't like how goofy and RPG-ish Yakuza got. He's like, oh, I'm just going to do a more gritty, realistic, literally set in the same neighborhood of Shinjuku kind of game. And it sucks to see, this is just more kind of death by a thousand cuts from bad decisions made by the money men, over the past 5-10 years.
So NetEase is a Chinese company, right?
Correct.
Do we have any idea why they're kind of pulling back on everything? Like China's games market isn't doing the same thing America's is.
I mean,
where,
it seems to be thriving, or at least the games it feels like we're seeing a lot of really big games come out of China.
China is kind of picking up a lot of that AAA and AA slack that America has. Not America, but like the West has been missing. So and I don't know. And NetEase, they're also the ones who they're behind Marvel Rivals, and they had the thing forever ago where they completely divested of all their American staff that worked on it.
Sure,
right?
yeah, exactly. So maybe this is just like we don't want to I don't know. Maybe they're like we don't have any say over what's going on outside of China. If we're only dealing with companies inside of China, maybe it's easier for them to.
Yeah, like some sort of regulatory trouble is what this sort of stinks of.
Yeah.
Because like it is odd, like you mentioned, a lot of the stuff that they had money waiting in didn't see the light of day, and like they weren't like super far along, where it's like, oh, this is in development trouble. Like, you know, we're worried about our return on investment. Like these things they were like announced because at one point they were confident that this was going to be a thing, and something happened, and it's like, well, we have to figure out how to get our money back from all the places where it's at right now. Like, I don't know if it's for fear or if something else happened. It's
part of it with Gang of Dragon, they said after years of development that the studio said that they would need another 7 billion yen, which is about $44 million. And so maybe part of it was cutting their losses and saying, we're not confident that this game will sell. Maybe it's gone, ballooned over budget. But, you know, that'd be an easier pill to swallow if that was the only case. The fact that there is like a whole litany of them funding a bunch of shit 5 years ago and pulling the funding from it or closing the studios.
It's an easy excuse.
Yeah.
In that case, but like it was something that they were already in the business of doing.
This also, I have to imagine that this game, someone will pick this game up, you know, for $50 million for them to be able to finish it.
The Saudis?
This seems like a good PR move and an easy
Jared
win.
Kushner.
Jesus. The first Paramount game. They're like, instead of Donnie, like, what if we get a white guy in there? what if we got like Kevin Sorbo as the main character?
What are the Paul brothers doing?
What are the Paul? God, well, Jake Paul's sweating through a suit, which is very impressive. I don't know how you sweat through a suit, but my lord. Yeah, so that's also a bummer just because I thought the game looked really cool. So
it looked like more Yakuza.
Yeah,
and who doesn't love Donnie Yen?
Gotta love.
I'm sorry, Donnie Lee.
I keep saying Donnie. I wrote down Donnie Yen, but I meant DonnieLee. It's
too many Donnies. We need less.
Too many Donnies with short last names who are just whipping ass in the middle of movies. Shout out to whipping ass. Also, going back to Chef Eric, Sandwich Eric. Thank you so much with a $10 dono. Said Chef Eric's second win game sandwich combo number 5. The Eric about our Eric. This is confusing because there's many Erics in this sentence.
Chef Eric's
this sandwich dedicated to Eric, our Eric, aka the Fixer. Thinly sliced rosemary garlic marinated skirt steak, chimichurri aioli with lettuce, tomato, onion, and a runny egg on a crusty bread roll. A little bit of the Argentinian chimichurri. I don't even know if chimichurri is Argentinian, Eric. It sounds Argentinian to me. I think of Argentina. Okay, great. It is. I was very worried. I was just like, it's kind of the chimichurri region. Chef Eric, you're truly working. He unveiled Jack's big floppy dong sandwich earlier today, which was delightful.
I'm not eating that sandwich. I'm
sorry. Well, you don't want to eat Jack's big floppy dong? What kind of a friend are you? So that's that. We'll have more on that. As we hear more from Sega or hear more from hopefully someone coming in to save the day for Gang of Dragon. The last story I wanted to talk about before we jump into what we've been playing is that Jeff Kaplan was on the Lex Friedman podcast. Lex Friedman's he's like a fancy smart man tech podcast who's known for like softball interviews. That's kind of like one shitty thing could be like people go onto that show because they know it's like safe from actual journalism. But That means some people who are good at talking will go on there and actually tell interesting stories, including Jeff Kaplan, the former head of Overwatch, who left Blizzard after almost 2 decades. And he, when talking about his departure, he said, what ultimately broke me in Blizzard was that I got a call to go into the CFO's office. And he sits me down and he says, he gives me a date, which at the time was 2020 and was going to slip into 2021. And he said that Overwatch has to make X amount of money in 2020. He didn't say how much. It has to make, this is what the CFO told him, it has to make X amount of money in 2020. And then every year after that, it needs a recurring revenue of X. And then he said to me, if it doesn't do X, we're going to lay off 1,000 people and that's going to be on you.
Wild.
And and Jeff Kaplan said that was the biggest fuck you moment I ever had in my career. It felt surreal to be in that condition. As somebody who had worked on a lot of games, made a lot of games, you get into these meetings where they're like, Fortnite has 1,400 people working on it. So if you just hire 1,400 people and make it free to play, we'll make all that money, right? I believe that I would never work at any place but Blizzard in my life. I loved it. It was part of who I was, and I felt that I was part of it. And I literally thought that I would retire from there. I never thought the day would come, and that was it. As soon as I had that conversation, I said, we're done here. And that was why he quit Blizzard.
Yeah.
That CFO also shortly after left Blizzard, and a little bit of digging, you could see it was CFO Spencer Newman who left to become CFO of Netflix, and he's now the CFO of Netflix. So if there's one good thing about Paramount beating Netflix to acquire HBO, it's that this motherfucker gets less money. Everything else is bad, but this guy gets less money. So
that's so unsurprising, right? Like that's almost exactly what you expect to hear is the reason for what went wrong with Overwatch.
Yeah.
Like, not that Jeff Kaplan was like a one-man dev team or anything like that. Like, he was very well liked within the Overwatch community. Like, when I would play big Overwatch stuff, I absolutely, was a fan of his and look forward to his updates.
He was one of the most like public, honest, outspoken, seemingly honest, outspoken creative directors in games, maybe to a fault, but like that dude was very passionate. That dude was like in the pit with people. Right.
And it was immediately noticeable when he wasn't in control of Overwatch anymore. But before he left, things were kind of downwardly trending. And like he explained in that interview as well, like maybe some of the reason behind that, like a lot of focus on the Overwatch League and, the upper executives and stuff trying to, they were basically super excited about how to monetize all of this extra game stuff as opposed to, the focus on the game itself. And it was pulling the team in a lot of different directions, which is why it was starting to feel so stale and stagnant at the end there. But like with him leaving based on that, very off-putting condition that he was put under, it makes absolute sense that like all that pressure started to collapse everything. And then the Overwatch 2 that they released wasn't anything that they actually wanted it to be. So I'm glad that guy left. I don't know if he was like let go or if he just bailed because things were looking bad. But
from what I was reading, he kind of was forced to leave because he was trying to also moonlight at Netflix. He was trying to be like, what if I work?
Trying to do both jobs.
What if I work at Blizzard and Netflix at the same time?
Oh my God.
Which respect. Big respect. It's and like it's insane because like Overwatch felt like one of the biggest wins Blizzard had since World of Warcraft. Like it's again easy to dunk on now, but put yourself back in 2016. That felt like the biggest fucking game on the planet. It won the game of the year at the Game Awards. It was like, no one was saying anything. It was like, this should be how multiplayer games should be. And it was so big. And yet it feels like the question was just not how do we maintain, but how do we make infinite money? Okay, we're making this much money, but how do we make this times more?
Like if you, the article, it surprised me. I don't know what the right word is, but like the dollar signs in like the people's eyes when they started to like kind of hear what they thought would be possible. Like, oh, this game is so popular and esports is on such a rise that they were like billionaires were trying to get their hooks into things so that because they were thinking it would become like the next professional sports league.
Yeah.
So like everyone was just eyeing that end goal of tons of money based on all of these things attached to sports. And the thing in the center, the actual game, was such an afterthought because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it very quickly seemed to crumble.
It's a fucking cartoon dog seeing a pie in a windowsill and being like, that's a bakery. And it's like, no, it's a pie in a windowsill. Appreciate the pie you have, instead of being like, what if we create an assembly line where these pies come out on a conveyor belt and lose all like personality and touch in them? It's aggravating because this story, you could just replace the proper nouns in this story and you'd probably get a very similar story to almost every publisher in games and in movies and just everywhere across the board.
In all the things.
In all of things. Also part of Jeff Kaplan's chat was that he announced he has a new studio and he announced his team's new game, which is called The Legend of California. Get the fuck out of here, Zelda. It's California's turn. Which is seems like this is like a Western game, open world, can be single player or can be multiplayer survival game. So it's almost like if Red Dead and Rust kind of combined. It feels a little sweaty for me. It feels like what it would be like to be alive in during the Legend of California, just people sweating a bunch.
I'm not mad at the premise. Did you play any of Red Dead Redemption 2's online stuff?
I played a little bit, and I was just kind of like, what is what are we doing here?
It's kind of boring because the thing is that world is so fun to be in, but the online version was just kind of aimless in that way.
Yeah, whereas like GTA 5 is like, let's just be chaotic. Like you can't be that chaotic in on a horse and buggy.
Like it was a little too like low energy, but given the right framing. Yeah, like I'm roughing it out in the Wild West. If like you're into cowboy shit and like the gameplay is fun, like that could be a fun idea for a bunch of
like we built a saloon that my pals can hang out in, and there's raiders, but we've I don't know. I guess
right. I mean, yeah. I personally, I think the trail looks a little rough.
I mean, the fact it's one comparison is always going to be Red Dead, and it doesn't look as good as Red Dead, which is understandable because this team's not Rockstar, but also Red Dead was 8 years ago. Jesus. Red Dead was 8 years ago.
But there are other like sort of survivally wilderness type games, right? Like Sons of the Forest, I think, is one.
Yeah, Rust,
which is also in first person.
Yeah, I feel like you can't throw a shoe at Steam without finding one of these survival games. Like, this one, the survival was not the thing. I like Westerns, and I think it's weird that like outside of Rockstar, we don't get a lot of Westerns. Like, the Mafia was like a spaghetti Western last year, which game wasn't great.
Like a literal one.
Like, the literal spaghetti. Yeah. Delicious. But I don't know if anyone's gotten hands-on for this. Like, I don't know if this was hands-on at all at GDC. We'll probably be seeing some hands-on impressions of things coming out of GDC. So hopefully we'll have some insight on some upcoming games in the near future. And King Dead with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, King Dead. Said here's $5. Netflix and that CFO aren't getting. Fuck that guy.
Right.
Agree. Everyone go watch One Piece on Netflix.
I kind of want more stories like this. Like, can we publicly shame the shitty, like just the shitty mandates from executives that like devs and creators and stuff have to like. I want just a deluge of people shitting all over these things so that maybe it'll get to these people who make these sorts of decisions and they start to think, okay, maybe I shouldn't approach these plans in that way.
Yeah, that's what.
And name them. Jeff was very polite to not name them.
Yeah,
but he knew.
It was very easy to just look at a time. There's only one CFO of a company. No, it's the same thing. Like a game like Highguard, which I believe as of today is dead. It is Concord.
Shit, yeah,
you cannot log into Highguard. I believe it could be one of those lies. I don't think it's a lie.
They said the 12th was the day servers were shutting down. So maybe it's the end of the 12th. Or maybe it's already done.
Okay, we still got 4 hours. Everyone get in. But it's telling that news came out afterwards that this was Tencent funded, and it's kind of like I want to know who greenlit this, like who said this is worth the money. Because you never get back to that person, or you never get to the person who mandated something. You always get to the creative group, which I'm not saying creative groups are not at fault. Yes, creative groups can be at fault. But ultimately, like, if the buck should stop somewhere, shouldn't it stop with whoever allowed the buck to happen? If that's going to be the person who financially benefits most from a thing's success, shouldn't they be the ones who publicly have to eat crow for something's failure? Isn't that how it should work? If it is risk reward and you get all the reward, you should be the one taking the risk. That's
like how it never happens. And we know Nintendo and like companies in Japan have done this sort of thing in the past, but it makes so much sense that if the executives are the ones in charge, they get the biggest paychecks, that when you fall on hard times, it's like, okay, we got to find $100 million within the company. Rather than cutting 1,000, 2,000 employees, you go across the executive suite and you cut out those salaries, which oftentimes can easily hit those numbers of $100,000 saved. And they're not going to like struggle at all for, the month, the year or so that they go.
It also feels like you could remove those blocks from the Jenga tower and the tower wouldn't fall. And you'd be like, why the fuck are these blocks in here in the first place? Maybe we don't need to build a tower with all these blocks. Maybe we could build a perfectly sound structure with half the blocks at the top.
Like if those folks, and it's not all of them, but if those folks who were at the top who just weren't as greedy, like if they're like, okay, I'm going to take the hit to make sure this company lasts a bit longer so that we can have more time to fix whatever this problem is with our situation, our game, whatever. Oftentimes, like we've seen games release, be bad, get time to improve, and then become mega hits that have lasted for decades. We've seen that.
Yeah. And that's because someone was brave enough to not be like, well, it isn't immediately the biggest thing in the world, pull the plug on it.
Right.
Yeah. It's also part of me
alternate
thinks
reality.
If there was just a Western CEO who ate crow and did this, they would get good publicity. I think the reason they don't do that is they literally they don't give a shit because they don't see anyone as people. Because they're like, these aren't people. These are bugs. These are slugs. I don't give a shit if the slugs don't like me. Just give them my money.
Their other like rich executive friends would make fun of them. And so they're like, oh, like look at Johnny $500,000 over there.
Johnny $500,000. Couple super chats that came in. Captain President, thank you so much. $10 dono. Woo-wee! You can get a little chaotic on a horse and buggy. Let me tell you, Spitz slaps a horse's butt. These games don't have enough slapping a horse's butt buttons is the problem.
Do you remember Red Dead Redemption 2? People would just all the time accidentally punch their horse in the face.
Punch their horse, accidentally kill their horse, and be like, I didn't mean to do that. Like, how do you explain to the people in the town, I'm not a horse beater. There's a lot of buttons, and a lot of them do a lot of things.
I'm just trying to get on the horse. I just decked it in the mouth.
Give it a black eye. Sussy Guru, thank you so much for a €5 dono. It's too bad that these execs have no shame. You don't need shame when you're a gajillionaire. That's too much money. A gajillion is too much money. Let's talk about, you want to talk about what we've been playing? What we've been watching?
Sure, why not?
Yeah. Do you want me to start with Pokopia? My only big thing is Pokopia. I've watched one episode of One Piece. I don't want to say I'm happy One Piece.
Oh, the new season dropped already?
Yeah. New season dropped. I watched one episode last night. Still enjoying it. A lot of new characters were introduced. Let me tell you, it's very confusing. A lot of people want Luffy dead, and I feel bad because he's the light. There's like a group of people. There's a lady who's kind of like make ghosts of her arms appear in other people. She beat the shit out of a bunch of dudes because her ghost arms came out of them and beat the shit out of them.
Nico Robin. Okay, yeah.
Very cool. There's a man who smokes a big cigar and is made of smoke. I think he ate the smoke fruit.
Smoker, yep.
Yeah, well, that's an easy name. And then he had a second in command who's a girl who really likes swords.
Tashigi, yes.
Tashigi, yeah. She really
looks
likes swords.
Exactly like Zoro's childhood friend for no inexplicable reason.
And she immediately had a bond with Zoro over swords, but then was like, oh, dang, you're a pirate, we gotta fight you. But yeah, so far, thumbs up for that. But Pokopia, yeah, big thing I've been playing. I want to go over a couple Patreon comments about it first, because that'll help me ping pong into my thoughts. But Nosk said in the Patreon, thank you so much, said I really enjoyed Pokopia for the 90 odd minutes or so that I played before my wife violently wrestled the Switch 2 from my hands and rubbed dirt in my eyes, and I haven't seen either of them since. That's kind of where I'm at
blind now. Oh no,
I'm sorry. That's where I'm at now. I am your wife, and I blinded you to steal your Switch 2 and your Pokopia. No, this is a game that when I was talking about this a week ago, I'd only put a couple hours in because it had just debuted that morning. And I said, I'm like, oh, this is, this is going to be my new obsession and everything. I didn't realize what this was going to do to me. And what kind of started off as like a light spinoff of a franchise that I enjoy, that is like, oh, it's a cozy life sim and a creative outlet and a fun way to zone out, has become like a legitimate game of the year contender for me, and something that has been taking over my life for the past week. And I see it doing the same thing for the foreseeable future.
People are really getting into this.
I'm really getting into this, and it is a game that is very good at giving you a positive feeling of being overwhelmed. And not in like, oh no, everything's falling on me, but almost like if you were like, when I was a kid and like went to Toys R Us, I'd be like, I don't know which aisle I want to go to. And I'd like start hyperventilating. So I was like, I want to ride the bikes, but also there's the games, but also there's the action figures. My parents would just be like, fucking just, we're not in a rush. Just like go do whatever you want. Like go wander around. Like you're fine. But that's one of those things that like any given time I am juggling like main quests. I'm juggling these like bespoke Pokemon requests. I'm gathering resources for like a build list that I have literally written down. I all of a sudden I'm checking into my mons and making sure no one's sad, because mental health is health. And so I want to make sure
they
all
get
the Pokemon
sad
are
in
happy.
Pokopia?
They can get sad if you ignore them. Some of them are like, you'll have an owl and he'd be like, it's too fucking bright. You built my house in the middle of a valley. Like, I'm an owl. I don't want to do this. And so you got to move his house into a cave. And he's like, this is fucking awesome. It's dark in here. This is great. Or you'll build a Squirtle in a desert. And he's like, why did you do this to me? I'm dying. Put my house near water, please. It's also great at just last night. I was in a volcano and I was just doing this volcano thing and like kind of mining for ore and everything. And I'm laying down these like tracks to create a little bit of like a mine cart fast travel from the mine back to my town. And all of a sudden I start punching a wall, and I see a little light on the other side, and I punch it more, and I'm punching up, and all of a sudden I pop out in the ruins of a museum, and there's like a book Pokemon. I didn't even know Pokemon could be. There's like a Bookmon. And I don't know who this guy is. I've never seen him in a game. He's like a sentient book. And he's like, I'm trying to put the museum back together. Bring me your fossils and everything. I'm like, I didn't realize this was in the game. Like, I've played the game for like 35 hours. I didn't realize this fucking museum was here. Wow. And so I'm really digging it. And I'm also surprised, like, the story is surprisingly poignant. Like, you start the game off and you're this Ditto who takes the form of your former, your trainer, your master, your friend, and there's just no humans left in the world. And all the Pokemon are like, what happened? Like, we had such a good relationship and they're just fucking gone. And you start finding clues of where people went. And it's like, oh, this game is saying something. This game is about climate change. Oh, like, this game is about like the planet became uninhabitable for people.
Wow.
And it's like, it's kind of like, I don't know, kind of really poignant to play that now. And so when I'm not playing Pokopia, I'm thinking about Pokopia, and I'm talking about with friends in the same way. I have like a text thread that's similar to like when Breath of the Wild or Elden Ring came out, and it's not at those levels. It's not at those levels. But like in the same thing where it's like we're talking about like weird shit we're finding, like, oh, no spoilers, but have you guys, it's like when Breath of the Wild came out and we were like, no spoilers. Have y'all checked out this island in the southeast part of the map? And then like, the first person went to Eventide, or like, with Elden Ring, it'd be like, hey, there's an elevator in the middle of the forest. If you guys find it, just go down and see what I'm seeing right now. And then you go down to like the Shifa River Basin and you're like, holy shit, this is amazing. And so I'm getting those kinds of moments here. And it's just really exciting for something that, I don't know, I was kind of looking forward to this 2 weeks ago. And now I'm just like, God damn, I love this game.
That's so unexpected, right?
I agree.
Like, I think the misdirect is the fact that this isn't a Nintendo thing. It's not a game.
No, this is Omega Force, the folks who are known for Muso games and who did the Dragon Quest Builders games. Also, one of their first games, Win Back for the Nintendo 64.
I love that game,
which created cover shooting. I think it's literally the first third-person game with cover shooting.
Okay, no joke. I played Winback like randomly in college. Like a friend had because we had N64 because we used to play like N64 Smash in the dorms or whatever.
Yeah. A
friend just had it because we had the N64 in the dorms. Was like, oh, this was like my favorite game. I tried it just on a whim and got mad addicted. and it was because I had already fallen in love with the 007 game Everything or Nothing, which had the same system.
Yeah.
Like Everything or Nothing was the final version of what Winback was starting in the N64. That's crazy. Okay,
that's Megaforce. What if this game becomes what if this game becomes a third-person cover shooter by the end of it? You have to like build your blocks and then you get behind it. I'm sure there's a Pokemon that's a gun. There probably isn't a Pokemon that's a gun. This seems like the antithesis of their ethos.
But no, but what was the last Pokemon game that was like a fully third-person thing? I know there was like Mystery Dungeon forever ago, and
you mean like the last like spin-off, like the non-mainline?
Yeah, like
Pokemon
big spin-off thing.
I mean, this feels like in a league of its own to me. Like this just feels like something very different. I'm excited. I don't know. It's just exciting. I like it quite a bit.
Like I hope the success of this shows Nintendo / Game Freak, like, hey, when you think a little deeper about this franchise, like look at what you can achieve. Like I hope there's a little bit of shame on their part in terms of like, why didn't we just do this first? They paid someone else to do this for them.
And I have to imagine this game's budget was lower than like Pokemon Legends ZA, last fall.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think this game will absolutely outsell that and has critically outperformed it. And just the conversation around it, like just go on like Reddit or go on Blue Sky or anything. Like people are like fucking gabbing about this game. People are gabbing. We don't get gabbing games too often. And if we do get gabbing games, it's like, high ground's dead. Like, I like that it's like a positive gabbing and not like a negative gabbing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Poor high ground.
Poor high ground. Yeah. And Jesus, that's insane. That in the span of 3 months, we've gone from reveal to release to the game not existing anymore.
And you not even remembering his name properly.
What do I keep calling it the wrong thing?
You called it high ground. It's high guard.
Have I called it high ground the whole time?
No, just in the last 2 minutes.
I'm thinking of when I get to the shooting segment of Pokemon, I'm going to want to build my village up so that I have the high ground for the intruders. Right. When Jeff Kaplan's Cowboys come and try to raid my village. A couple super chats came in related to that. Quintuple A with a $2 dono just yelled Pokopia. Just yelling it. Mopman with a $2 dono, thank you so much, said 2.2 million in 4 days, destined for the highest selling spinoff. Yeah, those sales numbers came out first weekend, 2.2 million. I believe I think it's, if not on its way, it is now the second best selling Switch 2 game after Mario Kart. What do we call that one? World? I think it's World.
Yeah.
Okay.
World Tour.
Now, what are we going to call that one? What is its name? Mario Kart World is the name of the Mario Kart game.
It's just World, not World Tour. World Tour was the mobile.
Ooh, thing, yeah, I believe World Tour was the one where it was like, Mamma mia, I'm in Singapore. And then Resident Shuni, thank you so much for the $5 dono. I bought Pokopia last Saturday and already have 55 hours into it. Send help. I don't even think there are 55 hours between now and last Saturday, which is terrifying. There have been. Not a lot more than 55.
Yeah, like that's tight. It's a tight schedule you're on.
That's 5 days. Quintuple with another $5. Thank you so much. The way the Pokemon talk about their former trainers feels like how in real life pets think about their masters when they go away. I did bring a tear to my eye. Yeah, do you ever think about that if you go on vacation? Like when y'all went on your wedding or any honeymoon or like your brother's wedding, did you ever think like, does my cat know I'm going away?
Well, my cat had passed by then, so.
Well, God damn it. Fuck that one up. When Jack goes somewhere, do you think his cats know?
No, sorry, don't mean to bring the mood down, but yeah. It had happened on the trip prior to that trip, so.
Yeah. I'm not laughing. It's not laughing. You know what I'm laughing at? Captain President with a great $10 dono. Get us out of here, Captain President. Anakin, it's over. I have the high ground. Thank you, Captain President. Needed that. Nailed it.
Thank you.
And then a Wing Potato over in the Patreon. Thank you so much. Wing Potato said, how do you all manage to jump between games, especially when an addicting game like Pokopia drops? Gonna keep playing this until it has extracted every last bit of amusement out of it. That said, so that was it for me, and I kind of wanted to, jump over to you from there. But just
it's a good segue.
I usually will be playing a couple different games. They're never the same genre, and they're always on different devices. So I'll have like a Switch game, and I'll have a Steam Deck game, and I'll have like my PS5 game. and those can kind of feel a little bit different. I'm also usually like streaming a game. Casey has Returnal that he's coming to once a week, so that's almost like a built-in, like a job game. But yeah, are you like a one game guy, or are you able to kind of juggle a couple at a time?
Try to be, but I'm usually forced to jump between a couple of things. Smash is kind of always in the background. But funny thing about that is because I do most of my gaming on Xbox controllers, either on my Xbox console or on my PC using an Xbox controller. When I play on other consoles like the Switch, just the feel of the controller in my hands makes it work. Like I never have confusion. It just makes sense. Yeah. But when I'm jumping between games on the same controller, that's when things get a little funky. Like the PS5, I don't use as much, but with Returnal, that has started to take shape. Like when I come back to Returnal, those buttons feel natural because that's the only game I'm playing on that controller.
Gotcha. Okay, so it is a little bit like, okay, you're the game for this console at the moment.
Right. Yeah, like Xbox at the moment. Muscle memory kind of just keeps that going. But that being said, like you mentioned, like jump between games. I actually have been jumping between quite a few games. Like we just came off of the Steam Next Fest stuff, so like I was playing a bunch of different things then, and then a bunch of stuff came out. One thing that I've been putting a lot of time in that I can't talk about just yet, but I also started playing Homura Hime, which I've been talking about for a little bit because I got to preview it when we went to PAX West, and then I got to try the newer demo on Steam Next Fest. I was a little worried about it at that demo time. Like I put in that Next Fest video that it kind of felt wonky, everything outside of the boss fights, which was the thing that I liked the most and was still very good even in that demo.
Yeah.
But funnily enough, the game has turned out to have fixed that somehow. Whatever felt off about just running around, targeting enemies and swinging outside of boss fights has just totally been corrected. Like it doesn't feel as awkward at all anymore. And now I'm enjoying all of the regular enemy encounters. The platforming stuff is all right. Like not fantastic, but it's good enough.
Sure, serviceable.
But the boss fights, amazing. Like I'm having so much fun up against like these sort of bombastic bosses. And it's like Returnal in that like it's playing with that third person, like 3D third person shoot 'em up gameplay, right? Like there's big flying orbs of energy flying at you in crazy patterns, but you have like fun movement options to like dart around them and dash through them and to parry things to make your way to the enemy and then unleash combos or whatever. So like
it's funny, the boss fights, I didn't put two together, like those orbs coming at you. I'm like, oh yeah, that does look like a Returnal fight.
Yeah, it's like Returnal, yeah. And I think we were just talking about it, how like, like I could get behind just more things doing this, like using this in 3D space. And I keep saying it, like Mega Man, like make a new Mega Man and steal everyone else's ideas.
Yeah. You have it right there, Capcom.
But in addition to like the gameplay being really, really fun, I'm surprised as well that the story and the characters that they're telling it's actually like an interesting angle. Like it's not wholly unique, but like there's a little like from the very beginning, it's kind of telling the story of like, hey, you're a ghost hunter, like you're an exorcist, you got to go find these evil spirits and kill them because they're hurting people. But every single one that you meet kind of has a story, and it's like, well, they don't seem that bad once you get face to face with them. Like they kind of have their reasons for being here, and you kind of show up as like the aggressor in some ways. And in one case, they were kind of begging you not to do what you're about to do, and like your character kind of does it anyway.
Do you think the game will ever do something interesting with that? Like
it's like I'm not done yet. I'm like 6 hours in at this point. I think it might be heading there. Like there's going to be some sort of turn, I think.
Yeah.
But I can't predict what it is, and that's good. Like I like that.
Yeah.
Like I want to keep going because I want to see how that turn hits.
Yeah, when we were talking about this earlier in the week, I was like, oh, that's kind of like how Demon Slayer, or even like everything. There are a lot of Japanese stuff does. Like Metal Gear Solid 4 did the thing, and after you beat him, like Drebin will call you and be like, that hot babe you killed? Turns out she was a child soldier.
Yeah, I just give you the whole rundown.
Smoking a cigarette and drinking a cola. But no, it sounds like, unlike Demon Slayer, which is like this person's a monster, and then here's the story of how they became the monster. It's almost like, no, this person's a victim of a curse, and that curse is hurting other people, but it's not their fault, and yet you still have to like
and then you're justifying like because they're not dead yet. It's like you learn all this stuff, and then you're face to face with them, and then you have to justify your job in the moment. Like, well, I still got to kill you because you did all this stuff, and like it's a very interesting thing they're doing. That like not it's happened here and there, but it's not
Yeah.
kind of to that degree. So I'm interested to see where it ends.
My favorite game that has done that is the Nier series, Nier Automata, Nier Replicant. Will have you run through the game once, and you're like, oh, I killed this boss, and it was 2 robots with axes, and then I killed this boss, and it was an opera singer. And then you run through the second time, and you get their stories, and you're like, oh, no, I'm a monster. Oh, no. Like, I did a terrible thing to all these people, which I really
that's on the list.
Yeah, exactly. I like games that make me
and Homer Hime does take inspiration from Nier. Like you have like a little like a Phantasy Star mag on your shoulder that's like shooting stuff at the same time, so you can shoot back as you're dodging projectiles or whatever.
Nier even has a lot of bullet hell orbs coming at you. So similar.
Yeah, more like that.
And this is PC only at the time, right? Steam only at the time. I don't think this is on consoles.
As far as I can tell.
Hopefully it comes to consoles and more folks can check it out. Homura Hime.
Yes, please do.
What else?
Outside of that, some folks caught me and the wife last week, Friday, playing Resident Evil 9. We have continued playing it after the stream. I have very mixed feelings about it. Like, I can 100% see why folks are singing its praises. Like, this is a very good one of those in terms of like the Resident Evil experience. From like, and I've only played 1 to completion, and like I always say, like I cheated to get through it because I was frustrated with with the actual gameplay. But I still don't think I like Resident Evil. Like me personally, I don't find the tension they build by making certain encounters awkward. Or my main thing is. And I think Resident Evil has done this for a long time. Like they dynamically influence the difficulty by giving you more or less stuff. Like there are drawers and lockers.
Famously did that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you'll find more or less ammo, and like they'll put you in situations when nothing is touching you that forces you to have no bullets. And it's like, okay, so I have to run past it. Like I just don't like that. Like it feels so artificial when I'm trying to
tension, almost manufactured scarcity. Yeah.
So like it really puts me off, and that's mostly the Grace stuff. And like I haven't gotten to the section yet where you guys said that there's more Leon stuff.
Yeah, it is very. It's the first half is a Grace game with a little bit of Leon, and the second half of the game is a Leon game with a little bit of Grace.
All right, so I think I might just be on the cusp of finishing like the big chunky Grace section.
Yep.
So yeah, I want to keep going. Yeah, I don't know if I'll finish it, but I do want to. Like I want to get back, especially because I get more enjoyment out of it because my wife likes to sit there and watch while we're playing. Like so, I've only been playing it when she's around because she wants to see what happens.
Yeah, it sounds like you'll get there. I would say get to the Leon section, and it turns back into more action horror as opposed to survival horror. And if that's not compelling you to finish it, I don't think you have to finish it. I mean, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to play it. It's also not I don't think this is one of those games that it's just if you're a long-time resident, because there's a lot of fan service in this game, like not like tits and ass and stuff. I don't know, but I was just going to say TNA, and then I don't know why I did that. I don't know. The kids aren't going to understand what the TNA is. But no, there's a lot of fan service in that. Like this game is very much a sequel to Resident Evil 2, and there's a bunch of iconography from Resident Evil 2, and that's part of the video that I have working with Eric on my thoughts on it. I don't think it's a 1-to-1. If you're a hardcore Resident Evil fan, you will love this because like Yahtzee's Zero Puncture. Ooh, no. Yahtzee's fully.
He did both.
All right, that was a great show, guys. Nick will be back in 2 weeks. We're going to take next week off. Yahtzee's fully Ramblematic yesterday. He's not crazy negative on the game, but he also is like, I liked the first half and I hated the second half. Eric has finished the game 1,500 times and is a huge Resident Evil fan, and he's kind of soft on the game. He's not as high on the game as I am. So I think your mileage may vary. Definitely with the game, but I don't know. I'm still smitten with it, even after having to capture a shit ton of it for this video we're working on. Except the hard part was having to go back to capture footage of old Resident Evil games that I played not that long ago. Resident Evil 6, which I played
you just did
a few months ago, and I got into the game and I was just like, I don't know how these controls work. Like I was like, how do I kept pulling out a gun and it had a scope on it. Not have a scope right now, and I just couldn't Just couldn't figure it out. I'm like, all right, my footage is going to look like shit. Doesn't matter. Whatever. This game's bad anyways.
Did you like do searches on the internet? But the internet's broken, so never mind.
The internet's broken. Yeah, if I tried to search it, it would just be like, you want to... Here's a fan art of Chris Redfield and Leon kissing. And I'm like, I will... Thank you, but this is not what I needed.
Like, for later. Like,
this
not
is for later,
now.
after I finish work. Anything... any other stuff you've been watching, playing?
Yeah, I kind of burned through a lot of TV stuff.
Yeah,
so I've been just watching stuff alongside the wife. We watched we finished Pluribus. When you get a chance, or I should ask Jack, I guess, but like let me know what Jack didn't like about it, because I thought it was great. I thought it was really good.
Jack felt like there was too many episodes that weren't about what the show's about. And I was like, well, that's kind of, he's like, we have a whole episode where you just follow this dude from South America. And I'm like, that episode was great. Like,
that was crazy.
That was,
and it
like,
was about what the thing was about.
Episode. It was about, because I'm like, this is what the thing is about. And
it was about that guy's aversion to the thing.
Yeah. And I think he also was like, Carol's unlikable. And I'm like, that's kind of the point.
She's very unlikable.
That's kind of the thing. It's like supposed to be like, what if you were the last miserable person in the world? you're the humanity's last hope, and you're fucking miserable.
Like humanity doesn't want anything to do with you, but here you are.
Yeah, he also said that the plot. I don't want to keep putting words in his mouth, but yes, he said like he thought that like the plot was very stuttery, like it didn't have momentum.
Like started and stopped.
I disagreed with. I really liked it.
I really liked it.
Real good.
Outside of that, I did resume One Piece, the anime series, because I always take big breaks. So it weirdly enough, it doesn't look like it progressed super far in the time I took a break. And I do know it went on hiatus for a bit, which is a thing.
Is that what Luffy looks like?
Do. that's Gear 5 Luffy.
We are never getting there in the live action show.
You're probably never going to get there in the live action show. Well, I don't know. Maybe they'll zoom through, but like, yeah, this is season 2 is the second arc, and that was forever ago. Like, good God. But yeah, like I'm catching. Like, I probably won't watch maybe I'll watch both at the same time. Like, I'll watch the live action one whenever my wife is ready, and I'll keep catching up with the anime. But so far, I had to go back a little bit just to remind myself of all the shit. And the show itself is at the end of episodes doing, like, you know how anime will give you like sort of like funny like comics or vignettes about like ancillary things sometimes. They use that space now.
Does those like another Taiko era thing, and
exactly. So like they use that section now to just remind you about who certain characters are and what their deal is, because
just the appendices
so
of a book.
Much, it's so much. There's so much shit going on that like I appreciate it greatly, because it's like, oh yeah, like that's why I remembered the name of the girl who you mentioned, like what she looks like. Yeah. What her name was, whatever, because like, oh yeah, like I watched this thing and she was mentioned in a background thing, because of course I wouldn't remember this fucking chick. She was in like 4 episodes in the whole series.
Yeah, it's like even the live action show was like over. I'm like, there was like a decent amount of characters in the first season. I'm like, you just introduced so many characters right now. Like, am I gonna have to keep track of all these people?
Like, it's honestly insane that Oda can keep track of any of this stuff. Like, the story is still coherent at this point, mind you. Like, it's just so big, but like it does make sense. And like I can't wait to see how he wraps it up, because it might be an absolute clusterfuck, or it'll be like the most brilliant anime ending in existence.
I mean, I don't know if anything stick the line. Is it just one of those like it will be impossible to have an ending that lives up to people's anticipations of a thing that's been going on since they were children? Like,
I don't know. One Piece is kind of special. Like, it might be
it's
like it might be the exception unique to that rule. And like there was another thing I saw. I think it was promo for season 2 of the live action show. But Oda, for the first time, wrote down what the One Piece is in a piece of paper, put it in like a treasure chest, and threw it in the ocean. Apparently.
There's gonna be some fucking YouTuber who's gonna be like, well, I rented a mini sub and I went down to the bottom. I got the bends on the way up, but I found out what it was.
I just thought that was very silly.
Yeah.
So and I hope
See,
it's true. I
that's
hope
good
whatever it
marketing.
is he did.
That's
Yeah,
good
like I hope
marketing,
that he actually did that and it wasn't just some bullshit.
Wait, is he one of those men who doesn't want to show his face like Yoko Taro? Was that him?
Is that true? I didn't know that. If
No,
that's
I
the
don't
case,
know.
did not know that.
Eric just showed a commercial with a man with a thing on his face, and I wasn't sure if that was Oda, and if Oda was a "don't look at my face" kind of guy.
I think
might
that's
be
it.
slandering
Yeah,
him. Okay, good on him. I don't want people looking
might
at my
not be
face
showing his
either.
face.
Yeah, we'll start wearing masks on pods. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Nice. A couple super chats before we wrap up. Captain President, thank you so much for the $20 dono. There should be a D&D build that is basically Mega Man, like a necromancer that takes boss body parts, stitches them to himself, and gets some of their abilities. I love that. You could probably in like a custom game. I feel like if we brought that to Jack, he would be like, "All right, well, we'll try to make it work." Was Sigmar
Don't
kind
give
of
me ideas.
like a custom build?
Sigmar, yes, Sigmar is a class that doesn't exist in the traditional D&D because I assumed as a noob that you could just play a character who likes to shoot bows and arrows, and apparently
Yeah.
you can't do that.
Which seems insane. It's like a fantasy
That
setting.
seems
That's
wild. Yeah,
one
like,
of the
what?
weapons outside
How,
of swords
how do I
and
be
magic.
Legolas?
That's the other one. It's in Lord of the Rings. It's like the basic text. Yeah, but that's a cool idea. And then waiting for Seaman. Thank you so much for the dono. Have you guys played Mega Man X Dive offline? That's a new game from 2023. That's like last year, right? At least there's Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection this month. It has casual ranked online too. Have you ever played these Star Force games?
No, I think they're more in the vein of the Battle Network series,
Which you love.
which I vehemently disagree with as a concept. Like Mega Man should not be in the same realm as Pokemon. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at a tactics Mega Man game, honestly.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's not what this is. But yeah, I have played X Dive. It's the closest thing we got to more Mega Man X. I think it was like a Filipino dev, and it's a gacha game essentially. Like you're pulling a bunch of like made up Mega Mans and Mega Wimans, and you run through like sort of remixed versions of a lot of the X series levels and stuff. It wasn't bad. It was fully 3D, but it controlled a little funky. Like it was meant to be played on mobile. Like there was a Steam version that I was playing, but it played kind of funky because like you could kind of make the game play itself. Like
gotcha.
There were like options to like, oh, you auto charge, you auto shoot, you auto target. Like it was like
what is this footage?
But you can turn that stuff off and
it's
it's not
split
bad.
in half. Is this multiplayer? What is it? What's happening?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's a commercial. I don't know why it's showing two different instances. But yeah, the game just looks like a 3D Mega Man X.
Oh, well, there you go. Or just play Mega Man X. Those games are great.
Yeah.
It's introducing characters. That's why it's split, says Eric. There you go. It was introducing characters. Showing multiple characters at once. But yeah, I think that'll do it for us for today's episode. Casey, what do you got going on? What should folks know about in your neck of the woods?
If you haven't already, make sure you check out the Scott Pilgrim EX video I did earlier this week about the Binome genre and how it has refused to grow up. I should be streaming tomorrow, maybe with the wife if she's not busy. And we might actually be going back to Seance of Blake Manor, but I'll let her decide if she wants to continue with that or if she wants to watch more Resident Evil 9.
Nice.
You'll find out when I blue ski about it tomorrow.
When you hit the live button.
Right.
Yeah.
And Super Smash Sunday, this coming Sunday, with me and El Cheshire, should be back as well. Join us for that, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time on the Second Wind channel, and then 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time immediately after on my personal channel. Fun times.
Hell yeah. Great to hear. And then make sure you check out. We've had a great week of vids here at Second Wind. Casey mentioned his Scott Pilgrim video. Great episode of The Backdrop that Jesse and Darren worked on about Eating the Rich art on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yachts is fully Ramomatic on Resi 9. A great semi-Ramomatic this morning that I fully agreed with. Of if you're not enjoying something, you have his permission to stop playing it, which I think something that all of us could even be reminded of, because I think all of us fall into that trap. And so that was a great video. Check that out. We'll have a new Unpacked from Eric and Nick going up in the morning tomorrow about the that AI review scandal that apparently the current parent company of The Escapist was a part of Resident Evil 9 reviews that got aggregated on Metacritic that were written by a man who is not a human being, but a beep boop series of numbers whose name was Shooter. And there's only one shooter, and his name's Shooter McGavin, and he was a villain in the film he was in.
He's a villain now.
He's a villain now, exactly. Check that out. And then, Eric and I have been working on a bunch of video essays you'll be seeing in the near future. Resident Evil 9, that 2001 video essay I mentioned. And then I'm wrapping up my thoughts on Pokopia. So maybe by this time next week, we'll have an update on when that video essay will be out. And then as a housekeeping note, we mentioned this on a couple of streams this week, but as of Monday, as of Hot Monday Energy, we're going back to relisting public, making our streams public. So you'll be able to find all of our streams just in the live tab. They'll be searchable. They'll be popping up in algorithms and everything. So stuff like Hot Monday Energy, Jack and Jess, Jack and Jenna, Yahtzee Tries. Any one-off streams we have, Casey and I playing Returnal. Any one-off streams we'll have will be back public again. So, we've kind of weighed the pros and cons. We gave it a long 6 months, 9 months of seeing if privatizing them afterwards would, unlisting them afterwards would change the algorithm at all. And what we have seen is nope, it didn't. So as always, Patreon is the best way to support us in doing things like these video essays, topics that we don't have to trend chase, just doing the stuff we want to do, which we have a very exciting slate of stuff in the near future. And the other big thing is if you're at the $5 tier and above, stay tuned tomorrow for Friday the 13th. We have a surprise Yahtzee lore read video written and edited by Jesse Schwab, and we won't tell you what tomorrow's episode going up on Friday the 13th will be, but it will be Yahtzee reading the lore of something on tomorrow, Friday the 13th. Who knows what it is? But at the $5 tier and above, you will be able to watch that tomorrow.
Take your Kalshi bets now.
We're going to move the needle. I'm going to make millions off this. God, fucking Giannis getting into that. That's just fucking die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Fucking hell. But yeah, that'll do it for us. For Casey and Eric, this was Marty. This was Firelink episode number 101. Thank you guys so much, as always. Everyone have a great rest of your Thursdays, and we'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.